My name is Atlas Guo, a PhD student in cartography and GIS from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Today, I'm going to share some very personal experiences and thoughts on the topic of LEGO-style topographic mapping, using Colorado as a case, but I also cover more general topics. So, yeah. First of all, I feel so honored to be invited as a speaker of this Geo-Ruckus series, since I am just a student, really not a true expert as other great speakers. So one of the reasons is that earlier this year, my map entry LEGO map of Colorado was the winner of the student artistic section in our 2024 GIS mapping contest. So I started learning GIS about more than 10 years ago and turned to focusing on the cartography just in recent years. But compared to that, I am actually a beginner of LEGO, so probably less experienced than most of you. So these are actually all the LEGOs I have, not that many, including the mini version, the nano block. And when I decided to combine the cartography and LEGO, there was just so much fun to explore. So all of my sharing today has nothing to do with my research at all, just purely for entertainment. And I hope my presentation could be inspiring and pleasing to you as well. So there will be some technical sharing, but it's not designed to be followed step by step right now. So feel free to watch the recorded video later on YouTube channel, GIS Colorado. During my introduction to my existing LEGO style maps, feel free to view the full-size images of them online at the same time. So my website is cartography.com, just replacing the letter GRA with my last name, GUO. Well, their pronunciation is kind of similar, so cartography. So you can scan this QR code as well, which is also a physically built Lego. So once you are here, you are there on the right, you can just click the portfolio at the top and then click the Lego in the by design section. And so you should be something like this. So when I introduce my map, you can see the larger image. Okay. Before sharing the actual content related to LEGO, I need to make it clear that this is only my personal sharing, not from LEGO official. And that's why I sometimes just say LEGO style instead of LEGO or official LEGO stuff. So I didn't place any watermark or copyright claims so that everyone else can just better enjoy them. But it's not supposed to be for direct commercial use. Everything is simply for fun, based on my very limited personal experiences and not from an academic perspective. And I haven't done any systematic literature review of the previous work, previous maps, but I'm sure there are a lot of it. The workflow I'm sharing is also just one approach for you to get some inspirations. And there are way more possibilities to explore and practice of your own. Okay. And in terms of the technology, the terminology, I really cannot guarantee that the term I am using is 100% matching the official usage in LEGO. But there are some very basic concepts that I want to clarify. So very basically, if you want to build up a physical LEGO map, it's very likely that you will need a base plate, which is a large rectangle or mostly square flat basis as a foundation, with everything else just built on top of it. So for example, this grid base plate is a 48 by 48 gray color base plate, which is roughly 15 by 15 square inches. There are different options of the colors for you to choose. And then the main body of the maps could be built using basically one of these types: bricks, plates, or tiles. Bricks are plates are very similar. and they are in the square shape and or round shape, but actually 3 plates of the square shape have the same size and to form one brick. So you can see this small illustrative chart. And they have the stackable studs at the top. And in comparison, the tiles have no stackable things on the top because the top is flat. So these are non-stackable tiles. Is good for putting some stickers on top of them so that we can add more labels. So I have some examples to show you later, but these are the just very basic 3 types. And the more general terms could be Lego pieces or Lego elements or Lego parts. So I will probably just use these terms to describe a general Lego thing. It can be brick or plate or tile or some other special pieces. And the dimension is like a standard size of Lego. So which is roughly 8 by 8 square millimeter horizontally. And if you are a very experienced Lego player, you might have heard of this word illegal in terms of the Lego use or techniques. It's actually not about the law or the judging thing. It means the non-standard or non-recommended, unstable, really weird way of combining the Lego pieces. So if you are interested in this, you can just Google it, and there are a lot of videos showing off the illegal techniques of Lego. But my practice will not cover that part, and this idea should be mentioned like here earlier. So now I will display some examples of the topographic maps I designed before. Yeah, just like you briefly show, I will also cover them and basically from the chronological order, like how I designed them and get improved gradually. So first, the Lego map in Wisconsin is my first Lego map, which is physically built on a 32 by 32 base plate. Here it is. I'm not sure whether you can still see my camera, but yeah, maybe we have more time in the Q&A section. And if you have specific questions, we can show this in details later. In this map, one Lego unit represents 10 square miles. And I try to include as many map elements as possible, such as the need line, the title, legend, north arrow, scale, metadata. You probably cannot see it very clearly only from the image, but actually the lands with higher elevation are raised with one more layer of the 1 by 1 grid plates. So the top layer is 1 by 1 round plates of different colors. And the waters are built using transparent blue color. And cities are marked with the star symbol or the 3D flags. And the 3 biggest cities, Madison, Milwaukee, and Green Bay, is displayed using the 3D flags. So since it's my first work, I was not super experienced enough at that time. So I used the metric units for the elevations, but in imperial units for the map scale. And I later added some labels in the digital graphic version. And then the second map I made is the award-winning Colorado map, which is the first time I applied the 3D rendered techniques using the software Lego Studio, which I will introduce soon. So the color scheme here is slightly updated to better show the snowy mountains. And clearly the 2 dark greens on the very right side are not very distinguishable. In terms of the typography, all the texts are displayed using Lego parts instead of physically printed, since I don't build this map physically, including the labels, the legend, the north arrow, scale, and even on top of the need line. I added the nickname of the state of Colorado and the established year of Colorado just on top of the need line. And this map also includes the outside state the boundaries and the labels. The next one is a Georgia map. It's simply a Lego style graphic without finished physically built or virtually rendered map. I just love this map, like clearly showing the stair-stepping terrain pattern, plus the major cities and the major lakes. On the left, I actually attached a screenshot of a pre-rendered Lego model in the different style. But that image shows the user interface of the Lego Studio, which I will illustrate very soon. And the next one is the New Zealand, which is also rendered in Lego Studio. And in this map, I mostly explore the representation of the bathymetry, starting with combining multiple or multi-layer transparent blue, but they didn't work very well as expected. So at the end, I still use the non-transparent sequential color scheme of blue. And also I start practicing breaking the neatline, so twice in this map, to mimic the old style antique map. And I keep trying new styles of the legend, north arrow, scale bar, neatline, and even with the curved corner. Furthermore, I labeled more physical geographic features in both English and Chinese language. So on top of the rendered 3D Lego map. But it turns out to be not a very good example, at least not good to learn from due to the unclear colors of the labels, unless you zoom in for enough. So they are just too colorful, probably. And next, when you see this Lego map of Arizona, such labels for the physical geography or the physiography look much better in the white color. But more importantly, I actually tried a brand new style for the terrain representation. You can feel it's dramatically different, right? So firstly, it's using
more continuous, yeah.
Yeah, it's using the tiles instead of the plates. And secondly, the tiles are square-based, making the surface look flat and more continuous. And lastly, I also replaced some of the standalone tile and the corner square tiles with these more rounded tiles. And the terms, if you want to know and apply, are called round quarter, and half circle tiles. Yeah, these are the specific terms for those special types of the tiles. And they definitely help display the terrain pattern in this much clearer and cute way. But this is still not perfect yet. I try to maintain a consistent style of to show the smooth terrain, while there are still some special cases that cannot be handled very well through the legal use of Lego pieces. That's why I mentioned the idea of the legal technology before, techniques, sorry, before. So I can try something weird to make it better, but you can not or can barely build it up physically. So that's why I only keep the stable or the legal use only. So next map is my second and so far the largest physical Lego map. It's a map of North America built on 48 by 48 base plate. This image shows the version I displayed at the North American Cartographic Information Society, or NACIS, 2024 annual meeting just last month. So there is a conference logo here as a point symbol located at the Tacoma, Washington. So in this map, I use the round tiles instead of the plates, continuing with the similar color scheme and the bathymetry and also the breaking of the neatline. New features includes the ice cap of Greenland in white color and land of the other continents in gray color, still with their corresponding elevations. And in terms of map elements, I make the best use of the advantage of the physical Lego map and make some elements just float on top of the topographic layer. So replacing the standing points from the flat tiles to the plates of the same color. all the topographic information below the floating labels are totally retrievable. You can see through the, like under the label, you can still read the attribute data. And the last one is one of the 12 tiles of the map quilt in the map gallery of NACE's annual conference this year, showing the partial surrounding area of Seattle-Tacoma region. So we could go a bit off topic here if you are not familiar with the concept of the map quilt. Right here, the left image is the entire map quilt in which each cartographer contributes one piece with strictly regulated mapping extent, but full freedom in the map design. So I was assigned with the area to the west of Seattle-Tacoma Airport with some land and some ocean. So I made this map to imitate the square plates of Lego, but with the Lego icon replaced with the NACE's icon. And additionally, I added some shaded effects for each color layer to better show the terrain pattern. And the essential labels are added, including the contour lines on the land and the alphabet lines in the water. And also some key direction information are displayed using the unit of Lego bricks, such as the one in the top right corner. It says the distance from here to downtown Seattle is about 82 Lego bricks. Much easier to understand for the readers. And as a summary, I made a poster combining most of these designs, becoming a mini gallery of topographic maps. So if you compare any two of them carefully, you will notice significant difference from many perspectives. That's because I was always trying something new when designing a new map. And also here is a short clip showing the two physical Lego maps together with this poster. I'm not sure whether the sound is okay. Let's see. Can you hear it? Can you hear my sound?
Can't hear the sound.
You cannot hear.
I cannot.
Maybe share again and make sure. Yeah, share again. Oh, that's bad.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now let's quickly have a look at how I made them technically, but just very briefly. The standard workflow is like this. So my standard workflow is across these three platforms. First, I make the plan visually in ArcGIS Pro, probably with some extra math calculation, and adjust it, and then set the symbology and as close to the real case as possible, and then get the orthographic map without labels. And then I would finish the Lego build up either physically or in Lego Studio. So of course, for the physical one, you need to place an order of the needed materials, which takes time. And the physical building of the Lego also takes time and patience. And for the digital version, after rendering it from the Lego Studio software, I usually use Illustrator to add some text and other needed graphic and make it a full image or graphic poster. So again, this is only one method. I'm pretty sure you can use other software like QGIS, Python, or R, or other tools to achieve many steps similarly, and even more scientifically and more efficiently. Yeah, we can talk about this later. So more technically, so this is the part you probably want to try in the future. In ArcGIS Pro, I make the plan visually at first, balancing among the the base place size, the rounded value of scale, and decent map extent. So if you already have a design of the physical faceplate, then that is a fixed value, like 48 by 48 or something like that. That thing you cannot change. And also, if you have a preferred rounded value of the scale, you can also maintain that. But usually that value is less important. You need to test and decide that value at the end. Of course, we prefer the rounded one, such as 10 miles, things like that. And the extent is something you need to play with, especially when you want to try breaking the map midline. So generally consider these three factors. And usually I would turn on some reference layers. I didn't show it here, but when I was actually making the plans, it's always helpful to turn on a lot of layers on top of them and then make sure your map just cover the best extent. And specifically, you need to create the fishnet for the next step. The tool is called create fishnet. I actually use the double quotation mark to use the exact same term as in ArcGIS Pro, so that you can search in ArcGIS Pro with the same exact tools to follow the steps. So to create a fishnet and then use the points to extract values from a raster DEM layer. So I am mostly using two layers from ArcGIS Online. One is the terrain layer, which is the topographic thing, the elevation, but it doesn't work in the water. So sometimes I use another one, the bathymetry layer. And it also has the land values. Should be generally the same as the terrain one. But this is not the only option. You can also use your own DEM layer, of course. Actually, using your own is much easier since you can directly use that. But if you want to use these ArcGIS Online layers, you probably need to run this make image server layer tool one more time, because by default, there are some limitations of the size of the layer. The default layer is too big. You need to run this tool to generate a smaller version and then extract the values on top of them. Yeah, the next step would be extract the values from the points. So here is the very simplified version. I only extract the value from the center location of each point. So the points are from the fishnet. When you create the fishnet, you have both the point layer and also a hexagon or the square cells. So you can use the square cells to either help you decide. Probably you need to repeat this process again and again to choose the final extent of the map. And you can use that the square layers to offer a reference. But you can also use that to design the square style symbology for the Lego. But the value actually only from the center point or the point in the middle when you create the fishnet. So after that, we usually need to convert the units because if the layer is from ArcGIS Online, it's using the metric units. So it's basically in meters. And then you need to convert them to feet. And I think that's most people, the United States people are familiar with. So in that case, I would just create a new field and then calculate the field and have the new value stored in the attribute table. So that saved me a lot of time when I adjusting the symbology, especially the classification schemes later. And I always recommend to make some manual changes at the end. One of the reason is like we only extract the value from the center. And sometimes that does not show the real case or the real pattern, especially when the number of the points is not as many as enough. So this procedure could be dynamic. You probably want to try a couple times and then figure out the best way. So the screenshot I show you is the result or the final version I choose. But before that, I have a lot of testing layers. So that's a very normal working flow. And sometimes when you just want to add like the layers, for example, for some major cities or for the lakes on the lands or other special thing, you can just create some temporary layers based on the fishnet. The fishnet, I mean covering the entire map, not only the Colorado part. So sometimes you need to keep that layer well and just use that to select and make some subset in the future. And even for the existing ones, it has the values of the elevation. You still need to modify them just to fit better on your map because the values, as I said, is only extracted from the center. And that could cause some mistakes or some very silly geographic faults. And the next step is the Lego Studio. So Lego Studio is so much fun to play with and explore. This is the official software from Lego. It's called all-in-one software. So the user interface is just like the image on the right. You might need to spend some time getting used to controlling the viewing perspective because it's a 3D thing. Basically, if you're using a mouse, you can hold the mid key of the mouse and dragging. So that will change the perspective. And I think I can very briefly show you after this slide. So basically, you need to select the Lego elements of the certain shape from the left side. So you can see currently it shows some bricks, and there are also other types. So you need to choose a type at the top, and then choose the very specific one of them at the bottom. So the current color is gray, and you can also edit the color either at this step or edit them later. And yeah, and click when you choose the correct type, then you can click on top of the artboard or the central area. I don't know which term is good to describe the area. So basically you click on the central area and then the new piece will be added on top of them. But it's really tricky. Sometimes we need to avoid the overlapping and you might need to rotate your angle and to make sure the new piece is added to the correct place. Sometimes it's really, really tricky. The color system matches the real Lego pieces. There are many options, but still limited number of choices. And the two major types of the color is transparent or non-transparent. And under each of them, there are colors of different hues. And yeah, feel free to explore those colors. I guess there should be the real Lego pieces of the exact same color if you want to buy the real one. And the clone feature is something I need to introduce. So on top of the menu, I think the fourth icon is called clone. So that is something I found very helpful for us to add some exactly the same thing a lot of times again. So due to our Lego practice, we will duplicate a lot of similar stuff. So it's not only just one layer. Sometimes our layers are just piled up, and that's pretty easy if you have a lot of things selected together. Like the top one is of certain color, showing the topographic level, the elevation, and then under it there will be some either a gray color or of the same color. So the clone feature will be very helpful to quickly add the exact same times, exactly same things quickly. And it also has a list panel on the right for quick selection. And that can help us to figure out how many items we already added. But my personal experience is not as very helpful as in the Illustrator. So our control to them is just okay, just fine, not super helpful. But at least the list itself is very clear and also help us to make the decisions and make some selections. And also helpful to confirm that our existing items are just what we want. So lastly, you need to render the image. So you can see the screenshot looks really differently than the image I provided before or the final map of the Colorado map. That's because under this, it's just a preview, and the rendering effect will make it look dramatically different from the current style. So that part is also we need to spend some time explore. So I probably won't go through the details of that because different people have different choices and there's no right or wrong. It's just using different lights and different perspective, which works just like the projection thing. So feel free to explore that. The rendering part really plays an important role because it will significantly change the final export. So I think I can close the slideshow quickly and turn on. Yeah, this is the user interface of the LEGO Studio. I think I will skip the ArcGIS Pro part since everyone is generally familiar with that. Just look for the specific tools. But for the LEGO Studio, it's relatively new for most of you. So it looks like that. And if you hover your mouse on top of something, it will show the sign color, just like the selection. And of course, you can select multiple things by holding the Control P. And to add a new thing, as I said, you need to choose the basic shape, for example, tile. And then once you click it, the specific ones will be updated. And then you choose the one you want, like the brick. So once you click it, you can see the mouse. It will imitate the result of placing the new item. And then is the very tricky part. Now I'm holding the key to just find a good place, but sometimes you can see it's placing it in the wrong position, which I should assume is illegal use of Lego. And the Lego Studio actually allow that happen, so we need to be very careful. And for the color is this position, you can click this color and choose some from the list of the different hue, and you can choose either solid color or some transparent color. So there's still a lot of options, but limited options, not as many as we want in other graphic design software. Okay, so that's basically how it works. You can just put things on top of them. See, I'm making an illegal use probably if it's covering something like this. That's definitely not going to happen in the real world, but somehow the Lego Studio allow that. We need to be very careful about that cases. Yeah, and this is a clone feature. If we have multiple things selected, we can use the clone feature. Oops, move that by mistake. Oh yeah, and also you can rotate the items. It's basically a 3D software, maybe the most easy to control version of the 3D software. But you still need to spend some time like exploring those. Oh, right now I'm holding the right key of my mouse, so I can rotate the angle and see some different perspective. And you can use this way to check and make sure your elevation is correct. Like each color is placed in their correct height, something like that. And if you hold the mid key, it's like panning. Yeah. And zoom in, zoom out is just scroll down, scroll up and scroll down. And after you already place something here, you can further edit the color on the right. It's actually the same color list on the left, but just allow you a different chance to change the color. Yeah, on the very left, very right is the list of everything we have. So we start with this base plate 48 by 48 and gradually add more things on top of them. Yeah, this might take a lot of time. And what else? There's some text here, and this is actually just tiles. If you click the tile and scroll down, and you will find some very special tiles with characters or numbers on top of them. This is one way of adding the typography. Yeah, we will talk about this soon. And another way is you can just search letter or something, and you will find more options. Yeah, the brown color looks not good right now, but you can I like theoretically make it into any colors. Yeah, I think I'm covering most stuff except for the render. So if you click the render button, so this will be the place for you to adjust the rendering, including the size and some different settings. So I would say maybe spend some time to explore here. There are a lot of settings we can configure it. Yeah, and the rendering process really takes some time. Well, much quicker than the building, but still need to budget some time. Maybe 1 or 2 hours, that's pretty normal if you have a pretty large image. Okay, let's go back to our slides. Yeah, and let's move to some theoretical content based on my personal experience. So for the map projection, in most cases, it makes more sense to choose an equal area projection, since people can very easily understand the verbal statements of the map scale. For example, like 1 by 1 Lego brick represent 10 by 10 square miles. And for the scale, as we mentioned, consider your base plate's shape and size, more rounded values, and the map extent. If you want to break the map lead line, it's also the good time to adjust right now. And it's an option for you to merge multiple base plates. Keep in mind that the base plates could only be connected from the top, while the regular plates have the tubes at the bottom. So it could be merged either from the top or the bottom. Yeah, I by mistake introduced some terms I didn't mention before. So maybe I can show you. If you can see my camera, I have some base plates here. These are the smaller ones. And this is the large 48 by 48 base plates. So on the back side, there's no way to connect them, which means it has to be connected from the top. For example, if I want to merge these two things together, I have to use some larger bricks or tiles or anything on top of them to make it to merge them. But for the smaller ones, which is not the base plate like this, it's just a plate. It's larger plate, but not base plate. And the bottom looks pretty differently. It has the holes called tube, so that you can connect them from the bottom here. Yeah, I just make this map yesterday, maybe like during the presidential election. So this is the cartogram showing the winning and not the winning and the leading states. And then I don't have the large, I don't need to put them in the large base plate, but what I have is the smaller regular plate, so I can connect them from the bottom. Yeah. So for the generalization, I would say the very nature of the Lego style mapping is such pixelized, low resolution representation of the geographic space. So which could be regarded as a generalization of the correct geography. So usually when you are creating a very small Lego map like this, it risks in the overgeneralization. I would say manual, yeah, I also have the good example of the two semisphere. It's also pretty overgeneralized. So usually when we are creating a very small Lego map, it risks in such overgeneralization. So that's why I always said the manual adjustment is highly recommended to make sure the design is not against our common recognition of the geographic space. And the current workflow I introduced is very simplified, which is only extract the elevation from the central position. And it definitely could be improved by calculating the average value for each square cell. And according to the, yeah, we are talking about typography right now. According to the current elements in LEGO Studio, there are only few sets of letters, numbers, and special characters, just as those I showed you. They can be used to directly labeling or annotating. But other practice is to use the smaller 1 by 1 Lego pieces to form the pixelized text. Yeah, this Atlas is this type, pixelized text. And then the third way would be just adding like stickers or anything physically to show some text. Like I have some stickers on top of the flat uh, tiles here.
Sometimes when you bring it up into the screen, it gets invisible because of your screen background.
Oh,
So
sorry.
we're not always seeing it. I don't know if you can turn off the background, but
I can show this later during the Q&A time. Yeah,
sounds great.
yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah. And then, yeah, these are the three types of the typography. Yeah, so far, just based on my experience, I'm sure there are more creative ways. And then for the term representation, I displayed three types. The square one, the round one, and the round cornered one. And for each of them, it could be plate or tile. But the round cornered one, the horizontal one, is combining, it can only be tile actually. And they are relatively straightforward, but I'm pretty sure there should be other more creative ways. So don't be limited by the options I just provided. And for the symbols, generally speaking, the line layers are much more difficult to display compared to the point and arrow layers because the minimum width of the line is one Lego unit. That is still too thick to show some linear feature correctly. But it's not totally impossible, such as some important boundaries, especially in the large map with higher resolution. So definitely be creative with the point symbols. There are so many things you could add as a point symbol. And then the color is limited to choose. If you want to build up the map in Lego Studio or physically, there are choices of the solid and transparent colors of different hues, but definitely not as convenient as general map design or graphic design, where you have unlimited options of colors. And I do need to raise up the potential issue of color blindness of my maps. They are really, I mean, people with certain issues really have a hard time reading the typical topographic color scheme. But that's probably beyond our discussion today. And lastly, for the map elements, I have talked about various examples of the midline, the corner, the north arrow, scale bar, legend, and metadata. And I'm pretty sure there are way more solutions beyond my current practice because every time I build a new map, I can figure out a new way. So I'm sure there should be a lot of new ways. So I would finally remind you that Lego is 3D thing, which creates more freedom for us to make the better use of the space. Okay. So this is the end of my presentation today. If I have new designs, I will post them on my social media platforms and my website. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your own Lego masterpieces. Thank you so much for attending this event, and I'm glad to answer any questions now.
I think we have 19 people. How many? 11 participants still. We had about 16 or 18 earlier. Does anybody have any verbal questions for Geo, for Atlas today?
Or if you want to have a closer look, I can show them, show
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Yeah, try to show those last two that yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Okay.
it's much better on the full screen.
Those are so
Um,
cool.
This is the first map I built. You can see the layers better.
Yeah, it's just so intricate. My gosh. That's so nice. That's so cool.
And yeah, actually, I only have two. The other things are super small. So
this
this,
one. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I need to turn off. Okay, works right now.
right. Just the right perspective to get the whole thing in. Yeah.
See, you can still read the symmetry data under this.
So I was thinking, how many levels could you create if you were doing, I don't know, Coruscant from Star Wars, or yeah, the Royal Gorge if you had more detail and a larger canvas, or the Lego globe. There's a lot of creative thought that a lot of us would love to, uh, I don't know, bounce off. And in my case, I've always had the creative idea of wanting to put together a Colorado map. We have 64 counties, and there are 64 squares on a chess game. And so having a chessboard of a Colorado map, and then in some 3D perspective with chess pieces on it would be entertaining, especially for political discussions. So
Yeah, that would be cool.
yeah. But these are wonderful creative ideas, and like you said, yeah, just trying to look at different ways of doing it each time, and how each time you were trying to solve um, another problem, or a problem that you couldn't get to the last time. I think that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's also a very joyful journey to try different solutions and testing. So what I displayed is probably not the best one, but one of the best ones each time. I have a lot of failure ones during the testing. Yeah.
That's great to know. That makes us feel more human. Sometimes it's the failures that help us to improve, not necessarily the successes. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree there. Yeah, I just want to give a chance for everybody on the phone, online right now to ask questions of Geo. I should probably take the last 3 minutes to cover our announcements at the end.
Oh, I think there are lots of questions from the chat. So I can answer those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot. Where do you get your Lego style pieces? Some seems custom, but others standards. I bought the majority from eBay. Since I'm like duplicating, no, I'm just using the very similar pieces a lot. So which is not what the regular Lego would do. So it's much cheaper to buy hundreds of items of the same type. So what we need is basically just very typical colors of the topographic map. And then that saved me a lot of money just buy the same thing. And I really don't have something super special. But if you see like those on top of them, like these are stickers. So I have some sticker paper and I can print from my printer and then cut it and on top of those. So these can be the relatively special ones, just printed by myself. Yeah, the majority would be, yeah, just the normal pieces. Yeah, I cannot show you, but I have a lot of unused pieces of all various types. So each time I might try different options and just choose one of them. But I have a lot of materials for me to explore. Have you tried the hexagon pattern for the base? Not really. Lego is grid based. It's probably hard to do the hexagon thing directly. Maybe I can try some, yeah, I don't know, maybe aggregated thing, like relatively larger hexagons, but not that straightforward, I would assume. Could you get the mean or variation each? Yeah, that's something I really want to do in the future. Maybe like write a Python or R or find another better way to build up a pipeline, and that can speed up the process. That's something I can try in the future for sure. Population density map, hydrographic maps, variation. Oh yeah, they're listing more things. Sure, there are all kinds of ways. So within this year, what I explored is just a topographic map. So I start trying these like very simple thematic map. It's a cartogram, but sure, I can explore something new in the future. Three-dimensional Lego maps are especially tactile so that the sides, yes. And the Z dimension, you can easily extract that by using the brick instead of the plates. Like one brick has the size, yeah, this would be brick. This, yeah, not sure whether I have the same color or the same shape, but at least I can show you like the one, oh no, the brick has the height of the 3 times of the plates. So if you replace all the the plates into bricks, it will be 3 times extracted in Y, sorry, in Z. Cannot find, yeah. Downtown Denver building map. That'll be really challenging. Are all the tiles in LEGO Studio be able to provide by LEGO physically? Does it build a purchase request when running? That's something I want to explore as well in the future. So LEGO Studio has the next step thing, which is to generate an instruction book so that people can easily build up based on the instruction. And it seems to be the next step to immediately buy all the ingredients. But when I tried, a lot of materials are just out of stock.
Mm.
So I didn't try later.
Wasn't quite so easy.
Right, that's really hard. And those colors are really rare to find.
Mhm.
Lego globe, that's totally beyond my ability. Giant Lego map Colorado, lots of detail. Lego room. Yeah, that's maybe something I would encourage you to try. At least you can try in Lego Studio. That's totally free, and you can use whatever you want and make it as big as you want. And then one day you get a financial support and build up all the materials. You can build that. Yeah. Hexagon Lego pieces on the hexagon board. Oh, I don't know there's hexagon board, but I really want to try if there are such things. I really haven't heard before. Yeah, as I said, I'm actually a beginner in Lego, so this is all I have so far. 3D printed maps. I haven't tried, but I know some colleagues are doing the very cool thing. Yeah. Northeastern California volcanic terrains. Yeah, I'm sure if you try this way, at least you will have the similar product as mine, and either in the Lego Studio that's easier to explore, or start with some relatively simple one and build it physically. So that's something I really want to see. If my talk is inspiring you to doing such thing, I will be really happy and glad to see you sharing them and at me on social media. Okay, that's all the questions, I think. Generally covered all the questions.
Thank you, Atlas. I'm going to rattle through some announcements and let everybody know probably the most important things to look forward to in the near term this month is the Geography Awareness Week, November 18th through 21st. The Colorado State University Geospatial Centroid will be hosting a Bringing It Back to Earth session for 4 days. And the center of the week, of course, is going to be GIS Day. So not only are there going to be preceding events like Joseph Kursky's GIS Day live webcast and GIS and aggregation from GIS Soft in Idaho Springs, excuse me, I put Falls there, my mistake. But GIS Day itself on Wednesday, November 20th is chock full of opportunities for us across the Front Range and at the Western Slope to look across and see and greet people. Particularly the events that will continue at Fort Collins, at CSU, the events that'll be held in Greeley at the Link Library, at Aspen at City Hall, as well as Brighton. In their City Hall, OAT, the Office of Information Technology, the Governor's Office of Information Technology for Colorado is hosting at the Castle Rock Library, Longmont at the Senior Center, and to top it all off, yours truly, GIS Colorado, is with Langan's sponsorship hosting Mappy Hour at the Coop Brewing Company on the 18th Street. So we invite everybody to come there at 4:30 at the end of Wednesday. Again, CSU's activities continue on through Thursday. So take a look on the web on each of those. There is a single website from the GIS Program Office for the Governor's Office of Information Technology, and they've got a listing of all those events. In winter, February, and tentatively, if not permanently secured, the city and the city and county of Denver is hosting the next in-person GIS Colorado meeting. So that will be February 20th and 21st. That's a Thursday and a Friday. And so we invite y'all to come there. We are looking forward to some interesting discussion, perhaps a government or gov panel, as well as many locally and nationally, at least regionally sourced presentations to be held in person there. So we look forward to seeing you there. I want to also thank our sponsors for their support perpetually and in specific. So annually, we'll have support from many of these sponsors to help defray costs and especially to sponsor the in-person events and some of the costs associated with that, or especially the food and support for events like Mappy Hour. So I want to thank you to AECOM, Argis, Langan, Spatial, Frontier Precision, the Colorado Governor's Office of Information Technology, Esri, Digital Data Services, and Bell&Koola and their GIS Ops. If you're interested in being a sponsor, please contact any one of us, and we'll show you how it can be done on the small or more generous scale. Anybody have any questions? And we want to say thank you, especially to Atlas, for his wonderful presentation. I think I'll be looking over it for quite some time, trying to get into some of the aspects. I'm especially intrigued by your cartographic aesthetics, and not only with your Lego products, but all of your Atlas on your site. So please, everyone, take time to look through his site. It's beautiful work, beautiful handwork, beautiful computer work. The calligraphy and the seals are wonderful. So please take that opportunity to do so.
Thank you.
Thanks all, and have a great Thursday evening, and we hope to see you soon, especially on GIS Day somewhere.
Thank you. Bye.